Thank you very much. First, I am really very happy and honored to be back in Iraq, back to Kurdistan, back to Davutoğlu. Therefore, I am grateful to my dear friend, Sarok Kakmesur. Of course, again, my dear friend, President of Federal Republic of Iraq, Latif Abdul Rashid, and Mesrur Barzani, Fuat Hussein, Mashadani, Hyderabadi, all of them. They have been my very close friends, and they will continue to be our friends and brothers, without any distinction on ethnic or sectarian basis. We are from the same region. Our destiny is same. And of course, I am grateful to American University of Kurdistan. It is very timely and very critical meeting. Why timely? Because in last century, 20th century, we had three big wars. One is First World War, Second World War, Cold War. And usually, after Cold War, we use the terminology post-Cold War era. We have written many books, we have made many speeches, but now I can say, now we are at the end of post-Cold War era. We are in a post-Cold War era. And there are many critical challenges in front of us. Paradox of Middle Eastern peace, or paradox in the Middle East. No, we should not isolate ourselves, brothers and sisters. There is a paradox of peace in the globe today, not only in the Middle East. And without addressing this paradox of peace in the global arena, it is impossible to solve our problems of peace, security, and wealth in our region. Our region had paid huge prices after all these wars. First World War happened, then Psychos-Picot came. As Sarok Barzani mentioned, Psychos-Picot divided our territories, our neighbors, our relatives, even in the same family. One side was in Syria, the other side was in Iraq, one side was in Iraq, the other side was in Turkey, etc. So Psychos-Picot divided us. But how can we reunite again? The methodology of solving a crisis is as important as the substance of crisis. Second World War, it happened in Europe, but the consequences were paid in the Middle East. Israel was created on the soil of Palestinian people without establishing Palestinian state. One of the first decisions of UN was 181. Palestinian state had to be established parallel to Israeli state. Where is Palestinian state today? This is the root cause of all Palestinian issue. For 76 years, there is no commitment, no fulfillment of the UN commitment. And because of that, we paid a huge price. Several wars in Lebanon, in Palestine, in the region. Cold War has ended. But the first war after the Cold War happened in our region because of the dictatorial regime of Saddam invaded Kuwait, and Iraqi people, Kurds, Shiites, Sunnis, all of Turkmen, all of them suffered for decades and still suffering. But I am grateful to all Iraqi leaders, regardless of their ethnic or sectarian background. Now they are together, shoulder and shoulder, together for a new Iraq. That is what we need to see. When Fukuyama wrote his famous article, End of History, I criticized him. I was a young academician in ISA, Internet Studies Association Congress in Vancouver. I said it is a fallacy of hegemonic powers. There will be no end of history. History will be facilitated. History will be accelerated. Yes, history has been accelerated. We have observed many wars, many massacres, genocides in our region. Now, first, let me give you a picture of the global power. Then I want to address to Middle Eastern people, Middle Eastern states leaders. How can we achieve really a peace, a real peace, sustainable peace? After the Cold War, the first concept was New World Order. Now, looking to American strategy from that time until now, I academically analyzed the 1990s Father Bush and Obama administration, and I was involved directly in diplomacy during George W. Bush, Obama administrations. I can, in my book, Systemic Earthquake, published Cambridge University Press in 2020, I said, the basic concept to understand American strategy is strategic discontinuity. Almost every president changed the norms, changed the methods, changed the theme. And America, US was the only global power, and there was an understanding of unipolar world. But the concept was New World Order in 1991, after ending Soviet Union, ending Cold War. But the concept now under Trump is First America. First America is the end of the New World Order. It means if American says First America, if Russian says First Russia, if Chinese says First China, in the region, if I say First Turkey and Turks, if somebody says First Iraq, if another one says First Kurds, how can we establish a peace? There is a huge responsibility on the shoulder of the new American administration. First, they have to address to the humanity. Trump, I was critical of him in his first term, still critical. But when he said he will be ending the war, I was optimistic. But how will you end the war? When I saw his team, I don't want to give names, I don't want to make any personal, criticism, but I can say the mentality of his team, I know some of them personally, I know some of their biography, the personality, their background is alarming. Alarming all the world, alarming Middle East. His new ambassador to Israel said in one of his speeches in 2015 that West Bank and Gaza is part of Israel. Now, is he American ambassador in Israel, or will he act as an Israeli? I don't want to go into details, but I am really very, very concerned. What will be happening not only in the Middle East? One of his advisors said that Ukraine should forget Crimea. It means territories will be discussed. It means their understanding of ending war is compromising to Russia, compromising to Israel. I am scared that, like declaration of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel in his first term, was against UN resolutions, was against American conventional politics, was against any value of international law. But he said this. Now, if he says West Bank belongs to Israel, what will we be doing? There will be a fire. But I will be not surprised if one of his team people says this. For Russia, there have been several references to historic Russian Empire, or for EU, there is a split. Now, coming to our region, what should we do? If we want to have real peace, brothers and sisters, dear friends, three things are important: norms, methods, and institutions. What are the norms of this new peace? UN was the norm after Second World War, but now UN is ineffective. All UN norms have been violated. As what we need today is regional ownership. Then we have to say, what the key concept of norm must be human dignity. Not Arab dignity, not Turkish dignity, not Kurdish dignity, human dignity. Not American dignity, not Russian dignity. Human dignity must be the first value, the first norm to achieve a peace. Do we have this now? What are these human dignity? One is human rights and democracy. How can we say now there is such a human right when a genocide in Gaza is continuing. 45,000 people, according to the official, have been killed. At least 20,000 children were killed. And children were burned in Halepce. Children were burned in Iskota by chemical weapons. And now Israel is killing babies, children. And there is an ICJ, ICC processes against Israeli government. But how do they act? Do global powers really respect to ICC, ICJ? Every day we are observing a genocide in Palestine. There cannot be peace if that genocide is continuing. Now, let me give you some examples about democracy. I was chief advisor in 2006. I want to give some specific experiences, personal experiences, just to highlight what should be done. There were 3 elections in Palestine, in the Middle East. Election in Iraq, election in Lebanon, election in Palestine, 2005 and 2006. Brothers from Iraq knows, I personally involved for the participation of Sunnis, resistant Sunni groups in Iraq, together with Zalmay Khalilzad. We helped. For us, Iraqi election should have been successful, and it was a great success. Yes, everybody praised. Lebanese election 2005, again, a great success. But when it came to Palestine, reform list of Hamas won the election, but nobody recognized the election. The root cause of Gaza war was that time when Iraqi, Lebanese elections were respected, but Palestinian election was rejected. That time, they called Hamas as a terrorist organization. We made a mediation role between Israel and Hamas, personally myself, for 10 years almost, in all wars. When I told to Khalid Meshal, please, you can say at least address to 242, just to accept these two-state solution. He said, yes, we can do it if you want. But Yasser Arafat said this. Later, Mahmoud Abbas said this. What happened? There is Palestinian state. Now, 4 wars occurred afterwards. 2006, 2009, 2012, 2014. I was mediator in almost all of these wars. When Palestinians are being killed, BBC or international media, even last time, Palestinians died. It's because of Israeli attack. When Israelis died, Israelis were killed, not died, killed by Hamas terrorist attack. So if there is a peace, all lives of children, women, civilians, people are same. No one is more than the other one, more valuable than the other one. If one day Americans say Palestinian child is as respected, his life is as dignity like Israeli, then we can have a peace. Otherwise, there cannot be sustainable peace. Secondly, security. Security is human rights everywhere. Everybody wants to be secure. Therefore, we are all against terrorism. But if we are against terror, if we are against nuclear weapons, that should be also have some common criteria. Here, again, in 2010, with Brazilian friend Celso Amorim, Minister of Foreign Affairs, we mediated for Iran nuclear problem. And we achieved a peace with Iran and signed a trilateral agreement in 2010, 17th of, I think, 17th of May. You know, we have the letter of Obama, President Obama we had, but they said, no, we cannot make peace with Iran. Okay, if you don't want a nuclear state in the Middle East, say no nuclear-free Middle Eastern region. If Israel has a nuclear weapon, and if an Israeli minister openly threatened in last war that they may use nuclear weapon, how can we be having a peace? First, we have to respect all. Third, territorial integrity, another norm. We have to respect in territories. But as many of us would agree, how can we have such a hard, like Berlin Wall territory between Turkey and Iran over mountains? Or how can we have like wall between Syrian and Turkish borders when families are living together? The only way is respect territories, but minimize the role of territories, like EU. Franks and Germans, they fought for centuries against each other for Alsace-Lorraine. When they realized there is no winner of the wars, they decided to have EU. Now, in the region, we have to respect territories, but we have to minimize this role of territory, as if there is no territory. A Kurdish, a Turkoman, an Arab can come to Turkey, vice versa, to other countries.
Thank you
so
much.
These are some norms. I know we have time limitation, but last is constructive diplomacy is the only way, and high-level diplomatic dialogue is the only way to discuss all these issues. I hope Middle Eastern people are wise people. We have a very strong historical background. Together we achieved many successes. In the future, we can achieve similar successes only if we agree on certain common norms, values, establish certain methods to resolve crises among ourselves, and establish institutions to protect this order. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're going to...